All right, guys. So we gave you the top 5 stocks that we thought were worth buying if Donald Trump gets voted in. But we didn't give you the Biden side of things, and we thought today we would do that for you. So by request from all of you, and of course we were going to do it anyway, so get your panties out of a wad. But we have 5 stocks that we're going to look to potentially buying and definitely keeping our eye on if Biden gets elected into the presidency. So my first one, Fat Man Zoom, is going to be, and I think this is probably pretty obvious, but it's CGC. It's a cannabis company. They're probably the largest cannabis company that's actually publicly traded, at least in North America. And I think this is going to be a big one. To be honest, though, I think that it's only a matter of time before cannabis actually gets legalized on the federal level, whether it's a Republican presidency or a Democrat presidency. I think that it's just going to happen, but I think it actually happens probably quicker if a Democrat does get in. I think it's been no secret that the liberals have, been pretty pushing this pretty hard as far as that's concerned, and so I think that CGC stands to benefit the most. Why just the CGC? I know a lot of you guys are probably out there and are wondering why we didn't go with Aurora Cannabis or something like that, and really it's because CGC has the best balance sheet. Well, if you can really look at some of these other balance sheets as far as cannabis is concerned, CGC has the best one, and that's not really saying a whole lot. They have a lot of debt that they've had to work through because they don't get support from banks or anything like that from the federal level. So I think that this is definitely one to be keeping your eye on, especially if we see a Biden presidency.
Yeah, I want to give a word of caution because I agree with you, and I think it's going to go off almost immediately.
Yeah.
The one thing to consider is there's a lot of main issues that are going to be at hand. So while I think there's going to be an initial run up, just be patient with it and be careful with it, because I think, legalizing marijuana is going to be further down the road. So that's probably more towards the second half of his term, because healthcare is going to be more important. Climate change is going to be more important. So just keep that in mind, because we might see initial pop up. There might be a pullback on no news, but eventually it will come to the forefront. So, think about your time horizon.
Absolutely. And I mean, if we look at the chart here, you can kind of see that this is not so bad on the daily chart. It's actually made a pretty strong move. And I think this is in anticipation of, a potential Biden presidency. There's some investors that want to get in for the just in case. But if Biden does get voted in, I don't think that you're too late here. Right now, it's sitting at 1878, which has come up quite a bit from its 1380s high or low 14 area, and it started to run up over the last several weeks. I think that there's definitely some potential to hop into this thing, especially if we see it come back down to the $18 level. And then even if we see some sort of drastic pullback to the $16.50 level, I think that CGC is definitely a good viable play if we see a Biden win.
All right. Number 2, Next Era, ticker symbol NEE. So we know climate change is one of the main issues that they're kind of on both sides of the fence. It's all about green energy. NextEra is a leader in green energy, and they're also the world's largest producer of wind and solar. So as far as the energy is concerned, I think NEE is at the top of the pile. There's a couple of other good ones that you can go for. But for me, NextEra is a great company. And I think they're going to do really well. And I think that's going to be one of the first issues he addresses is climate change.
Yeah, I think this kind of goes along with, what we were kind of saying about the cannabis side of things is that, I think that NextEra could still do really well. And we'll take a look at the chart here as far as that's concerned. I think they still could do really well no matter who wins, but we'll see probably a more accelerated growth and aid, especially coming from the federal side of things, if we see a Biden win. We've already seen him talk about in debates and be very vocal about the fact that he wants to basically eliminate fossil fuels altogether and really phase in renewable renewables as fast as possible by 2030. That was part of his plan if you go on his website. So this is going to be a huge mover, I think, if we do see a Biden win. Absolutely. This is a great one to bring up, Fat Man Zoom. Glad you did. The next one's going to be, for me personally, is going to be DHI. Now, DHI is DR Horton. They are a home building home building company, and we've already seen a huge run in home building in general, right? We guys know that we love Rocket Mortgage for that reason. Looking at DR Horton, though, this is one that I think that really could stand to benefit because of potential subsidies that we have heard the Biden campaign talk about increasing, especially for those who are in areas of extreme poverty. And DR Horton stands to benefit from this. So not only are we seeing a huge housing boom in general, but we'll also see that from the federal level as well, and especially start to see more money rolling into housing. And DR Horton stands to benefit very greatly from that. We can look at some other housing companies as well, but if we look at the chart here on DR Horton, you can see that recently it's been beaten down, obviously, with the rest of the market, and I think we're starting to approach levels that make a lot of sense for DR Horton in particular. I like this one a lot, Fat Man Zoom. I think that this is definitely one to certainly take a look at if Biden gets a win.
Great stock, and I'm going to throw in a bonus one. Same reasons that you just said. Realty Income, ticker symbol O. Same reasons. And they also have a high dividend yield. So if you're longer term, you want to benefit on the dividend, almost 5% dividend. So that's nice.
Yeah, the dividend's great on this thing. I mean, that's awesome. I didn't even pay attention to that. But yeah, good eye on that one. What do we got for our next stock?
So next stock is Teladoc T-Doc. So COVID, right? Like virtual health services are huge. Again, I think we're cheating a little bit because I think all of these stocks benefit no matter which side wins. Whereas the one with Trump wins, the video I did with Trump wins, probably most of them lean more towards Trump. So check that video out if you want to see the 5 stocks that we think will do well if Trump wins.
We'll put it up in here somewhere, wherever.
But T-Doc, again, they're the leader. We're going with leaders. Obviously, there's going to be some choppiness and some uncertainty. So I don't think now is really the time for spec. Go with the best, stick with the best. They had the Livongo merger that went through. That's great news for them. So COVID's obviously going to be a boon to the business. And then Biden's focus on healthcare. That's going to be a force multiplier for that. So excited about T-Doc.
Couldn't agree more with you. And I think that, yeah, I guess I don't think it's too much of a cop out when we say that both of them, they can do well no matter what. But I think really what it comes down to is what's going to have the faster, what's going to grow faster if Biden wins. And I think that these stocks are definitely going to grow faster if we see a Biden presidency for sure. Yeah, I think Teladoc's definitely one to bring into the conversation. And really with the Livongo merger, it didn't get a whole lot of love for that, which I don't know why it didn't, but this only adds value to the company. And we probably shouldn't take or bring. I think we couldn't talk about something like Teladoc without talking about the ACA or the Affordable Care Act, which I'm sure that the Biden presidency, or even like a Democratic Congress would probably fight their tooth and nail to try to keep the ACA, and so that only benefits Teladoc as well. So we like this one. Look for this one to make a move if we see the Biden win. And then finally, for me, and it probably shouldn't come as too much of a surprise, but I think that Tesla is the perfect stock for a Biden win. And again, obviously, we still think that Tesla's going to do well no matter what, but we could see some accelerated growth from a Biden win because of what we've already talked about as far as energy is concerned. And in electric vehicles as well, he's been pretty loud and proud about the electric vehicle advancements as well as energy, and Tesla falls in both of those categories. We always talk about Tesla as it relates to the automotive side of things, but a lot of people still tend to forget about the energy side of things as far as solar is concerned, and I think that the company is only poised to really see some accelerated growth if we see a Biden win.
Yeah, and the other thing to consider is the relationships with China and relationships with foreign affairs. So
right.
Tesla has huge exposure to China, has a factory in China, and that is only going to bode well because obviously there's been some tension with the Trump side.
Right.
And so with Biden coming in, China relationships should ease a little bit, and there shouldn't be any worry. I think the issue is worry. And so there'll be more confidence in that. And that's Tesla's biggest opportunity market outside of the US. So looking forward to Tesla exploding. We all need Tesla to blow up.
Absolutely. And if we look at the chart here, I mean, I think that 385 seems to be a level where it had held very well, especially last week. And I'm hopeful that they hold their support there too. If not, we could see it come down to maybe around 370. But guys, I'm telling you, I think that scooping up some Tesla down here in the 300s, I got to be honest with you, I was a little bit surprised to see it back down here, but I think this is an absolute steal in the 300s. You can see that it did break out of this wedge pattern, so this may actually end up going bearish, but it still would have to come below 352 in order for us to consider this a bearish move. Obviously, breaking out of this rising wedge wasn't great for them, but it's still trending overall if you look at the lower highs or the higher lows that it's had rather since 272, 273. So it's still trending up, and we always talk about how the trend is your friend. I like Tesla a lot. We both like Tesla a lot. And that is the 5 stocks that we think are worth watching the most going into a potential Biden win. So there you have it. You have our video that we put out on Friday as far as what to watch out for if a Trump presidency arises. And then if Biden actually ends up winning, these are the ones to watch for as well. Guys, we hope that you like this video a lot and that you give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Fat Man Zoom, you got anything else?
Yeah, we're live every Tuesday, Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern time.
There you have it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.